I should accept access to both the arrows and blue.
Are you in your personal profile? How are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sally, you logged in? And you're inside Dazychain?
Setting my password.
You in, Russell?
I'm watching the screen, Cass. Yeah, I'm watching the screen.
So can you go to your email and accept the invitation that I've sent you?
Well, I thought I did.
Yeah, it's a Dazychain.
Yep.
Okay, so where's everyone at? Trish, where are you at?
About coming in about me, should I have a privacy setting up?
Let's just make sure everyone's okay. You're at about me. Hamish, where are you at? Okay.
I'll catch up there.
Sam, where are you at?
I've logged in and I'm in the project.
Project set. I'm there for you right now, right? Okay, good. You've gone in and accepted your role, Trish?
It's asking me about privacy settings. Should I be private or public? Or does that matter?
Be public. What settings have you chosen? Have you gone in and adjusted everything inside your profile?
Go to the top right hand corner, my profile.
Oh no, you're okay, you're in. So you're at the project.
Yeah, I didn't have to fill anything in, it's just
Great. It's complicated when you've been invited previously. So maybe it tries to work out which organisation you're in. Where are you at now?
Been doing this for a little bit.
It doesn't do that. That's not what it's trying to do. Click inside the.
I had to reset the password, which worked.
Turn green to that.
No, the submit's got the little wheel next to it. It's doing something.
Shouldn't do that. So I don't know what's wrong. Click on the refresh button.
Yeah, good. It's worked.
I join organisation.
Yeah. Join every organisation. Have you joined Bluestone?
I did when on the login screen. Now it's on this about my profile screen. It's asking me to join organisation again.
Yes. If you've got more than one organisation, and I've invited you before, so you'll get access to the arrows and then get access to it.
So Bluestone's the training demo. What's it?
For me.
Bit of everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really don't want anybody figuring it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
I use this in prod because the reason I do it is that it sends emails rather than going to a mail trap. Okay, so when you any work that you do in this today, I want it to be real looking work. Okay, so happy for you to pot around in here, but not happy for it to be test one test. So any data that you put in here has to look like a real project. It has to be useful and usable by others who come in to do it. And it's a good discipline to be in when you're using or creating test data, that it's not junky test data. It's test data that ends up being functional and usable and high quality, rather than us having to go back in there and filter it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone ready to go?
Yep.
Trish, where are you at?
I got a little bit confused by an organisation. I selected an organisation. Where's my join button, or how do I?
It's auto save.
Okay, do I just close the screen? That's not clear, and then it took me back here.
These are organisations. Okay.
Search quickly found it. And what?
are you going, Russell? On your,
I'm trying to get in, Cass. I'm just taking
where are
my
you at?
son.
Can you be,
I'm on
can
the,
you be,
I'm on the header. I've got, is it workspace? Workspace.
I'm asking, have you clicked on the email that I sent you via Dazychain?
The Dazychain training, yeah.
No, Dazychain has sent you an email in your email inbox.
Oh, invitation to join Bluestone. Okay, got it. Okay.
Click on that.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Got it.
For some reason you had already joined, and it was thinking that you were trying to search something, but I'm going to go back and have a look at that. That's just weird. So how are you going now, Russell?
The password. I just can't seem to get in on my password. Well.
Doesn't have a password, so you just. Okay, where are you at?
Sorry?
Be more descriptive. What are you looking
I'm
at?
on the. Yeah, I'm on the login part. It says login. I've got the email address, but my password. Join the. It says submit.
Click on the link. Click on the link, Russell.
Forgotten
No, it's
password or. Sorry,
No.
can't hear you.
So he must have put the link to that screen. So I think
Hang on. Yeah, he doesn't have a password. You don't have a password when you first start. Okay, so where are you at now?
I'm at the login. I got there's a login square, and I've got the email address which I've put in, but the password's not working for me.
Me there as well.
Oh, that's because you've already had an address. Okay,
But
so
I've never been in.
you've been invited before, though.
But I've never been in.
But that's because you were invited. Sarah, are you in? Where are you in now? Okay. Check everyone's status here. And check you, Russell. See what it thinks of you. What you need to do, Russell, is to change your password, I guess. I don't see you as being. I've requested you, Sam. I don't see you as being in either. Are you inside Bluestone?
I'm in Bluestone.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm in Bluestone.
You need to go to,
Okay.
you're in Bluestone?
The
Go to your
credentials you entered are not valid. What is it? Oh, well.
Sam, you've joined Daisy.
That's if you're,
That's good.
please,
I'm about to invite you to
if you want
some
to create a new
projects.
organisation or find
Wait till
another one.
everyone's on before we do that. You click on the Dazychain top left, and then you'll see that Bluestone should be available to you now.
You need to refresh your screen before it's recognised. Literally all Sam did was accept the new organisation invitation, and that ticker on the bottom, on the top left corner, where it gives you the option to go to different organisations. If that doesn't update automatically, so refresh.
Normally, people don't have multiple organisations, but it's very likely that we might have it. It's an area where it's been designed to be able to be functional for people who need it to be functional, but it's not very well designed or usable for the people who, For support, you'll get used to it. You could jump between organisations quite easily when you're registered in them. But if you don't know where are you at now? Been able to get your...
I can't get my password in. It says enter at least 6 characters. I've done that, and I just can't seem to get in. It just says join the Dazychain community. Join now. I've forgotten your password, but every time I enter it, well, try it again. Submit.
Oh, hang on.
It says.
Where are you at? Have you joined Bluestone?
Yeah, join Bluestone.
So why are you changing your password now?
Because it tells me to put in a password.
Yeah, why don't you show your screen? Yeah. Let's have a look where you're up to. Good idea.
So, Russ, you're going to get a request to become the presenter.
Yep.
Oh, it's your screen, Russ.
Can you see it now?
We can see Microsoft Office,
What's that?
see Word.
I don't
Can
get
you
what
see
we're
it now?
You must be on the wrong.
Change screens, Russell.
Bring it over to the
Sorry.
other one. You've got demo service company.
Have a look what's on the screen, Russell. We can't see that.
Oh. I'm totally lost now. What?
We can only see, if you've got two screens showing on your desk.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Okay, yeah, gotcha. All right, so I'll just drag it over. Can you see it now?
Nearly.
Getting there.
Yeah. Okay, so click right now inside the password box.
And just do what? Submit it?
Have you got a new, did you request a new password?
No.
Hang on. Okay, then is that your old password?
Yeah.
So you remember it from last time and have you been in Dazychain before?
Oh, God's truth. Geez, that's a long time ago, Cass. I don't even remember my name at the moment, let alone anything else.
So I'm just trying to work out, have you been in Dazychain before or not? You entered Dazychain before and had a password and username? Just yes or no?
No.
Okay, so all right, then you'll just need to click on the forgotten my password link and then go back to your email. To see you've forgotten your password, click on that.
Yep.
To your email.
Bloody thing.
Then click submit.
Yep,
Go
done
to your
it.
email.
Yep.
Don't save that. Yeah, don't save that. Just go to your email. Yep, click on inbox. Click on the reset your password button up above.
Oh, okay.
Click on
Yep, got it. Yep. Okay. So I just do it in now? Just.
Yep. No, lowercase, Russell. Lowercase,
Oh.
Russell.
Well. Is that it? Yep.
Click on the I agree, yep.
This one here, accept access for Bluestone.
Yep. Accept access. Click on the green one.
Yep.
And then click on the Yaris one as well. Accept access.
Yep.
At the organisations you've been invited to. Great. Now hop out of there and go over to. Don't touch any of them. Don't touch any of them. Move over to the left.
Yep.
Click the refresh button. Something weird happened. Yeah, click on the refresh button. Top left.
Yep, I'm trying to find it, Cass. Where is it?
Top left. Keep going. Top, higher, 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 higher. Up. Right.
Oh, there. Yep, got it.
No, that one. There you go.
No.
Click on it.
Yep, done it.
Okay.
Do I register?
Then,
do I join the organisation or register?
No, don't. Just click out of that. Click get out of that top right. Click out of that and close that window.
Yep.
Close it. Yep. Now go to the left and say organisation. Top left. 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 Just click there. Select organisation.
Oh, okay.
To the right there, yeah. Select organisation. Click on
Yep.
that.
Which Bluestone or
Bluestone.
Yaris? Bluestone.
Bluestone.
Okay. Hooray.
Okay. Would you mind having me be the presenter again, please, Hamish? Great. Right. Now I want you to not look at your computers for a minute. We'll come back to that. At least we now know that everybody's registered. It's a pain in the ass when you've been invited to the several organisations. But then, if you are invited to an organisation, the best thing to do is to accept the invitation immediately. So if I do send you an invitation to a Dazychain organisation, do accept that invitation. That way, then it's not a big deal. You don't go back on a whole historical set of invitations. Okay. Easy. Okay. Get rid of this. Great. It appears that everyone's here. Now, this is the organisational administrator area. You can see my little black cogwheel here. Different people have different roles within Daisy. I'm going to give you a slightly different training version because you're going to come from different perspectives. So I'd like it if you would all tip forward your screens right now so that everyone can concentrate. Great. So let's first give Russell a role. Russell several roles. I click on Russell and then I go to the roles area and I'll give Russell the roles of panel manager. I can also give him organisational administrator and the finance role. And this means then that Russell has the opportunity to view invoices, to be able to add and subtract users, to be able to create and edit project workflows, to create and manage panels of service providers, and to collaborate on projects. So, okay, so who's been paying attention? Sam, what roles am I going to give you and how am I going to do those? So what do I do to do that? Yeah. 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 Got it. Right. So Sarah, what roles are these that I'm going to give you? What does project do?
We're able to create the new project.
Perfect. Panel manager, what does that do? Think about the word panel. What is a panel? You know more intimately than anybody else in the room. Create and manage a panel of service providers. Org administrator. Yeah. Finance. Trish, what roles am I going to give you? All four? Oh, yeah. What are you going to do with finance?
Theoretically, I'm managing this administrative company. I've got overview of the invoices. And then, so the subbies are the panel invoices, I'm including them.
Okay. Hamish, where are you? Yeah. It's really important that when you're the organisational administrator that you realise that you can make some massive changes in this app for your company. And you can actually cache everything that your company has created in terms of workflow process if you're an organisational administrator. If you're a non-careful organisational administrator, you could cause complete havoc in your organisation. So it's not a role that you give lightly, okay? don't, in any circumstances, if you're an organisational administrator, give somebody to being an organisational administrator unless you have a chat with the person who is already the org admin.
Will there be cases where we do support does manage user access? Or is
Not
that
currently, but there may be at some point. So you'll need to give that some very serious thought. The areas that the last part of your that relate to the creation and editing of workflows. So that's something generally that I only do. So Rebecca Evans from Bendigo Bank does add and subtract attributes, but you've got to be really careful about who got into that part of the system.
Before you gave me roles, I had all the menus down the right side, including the settings one. For a user who doesn't have organizational administrator, they do in settings.
I'll show you. Okay. When you click on, if you are not an organizational administrator, you have only two parts of the menu available to you, My Profile and Advanced Settings. Now, the most annoying thing about Dazychain is that it will send you, and it will spam you between here and the moon with 60 billion emails. And people may call you to say, I just can't stand it now. It has so many emails. So to change that, you go to the advanced settings and you tell it to stop spamming you. And there are areas that you can look at quite easily inside projects, when a project's offered or proposed, accepted, rejected, cancelled, closed, reopened, etc. When somebody is sending deliverables, you can decide whether or not you want to be spammed by that. If somebody's doing invoices, same. Okay, so why don't you get into your profile now and change some of your advanced settings notifications. Let's make sure that this is a really practice session where you're getting use out of the time by learning what to do and how to do it. Let's have a change of a few things. Inside projects, you're probably not going to want to know every time a project is offered or proposed by everybody on your team. So if you click on the inside the advanced settings, click on offered or proposed, you don't want to send an email then. It will, however, still send you a Dazychain notification. If you look up briefly on the screen there, this is where the Dazychain notifications are kept. There's a billion of them. You can see them all the time. You probably don't want to know when something's been accepted or rejected by email. You probably don't care about when something's been cancelled or closed. You may want to know when a new project has started or when one's been opened. You probably don't want to know when somebody's been adding or deleting, adding or removing collaborators. So these are the sort of ways that you can decide what you do and don't want to see. Initially, let's turn them all on. So turn them all back on so you can see how many you get and how you can get spammed.
handy that you can just press on at the subheading level and it will turn them all on.
That's right. If you want to have them all on or all off, you can. And this is something that you may want to, when people call up and they're just talking about it, you can always ask them, oh, you know, that's, are you getting emails from Dazychain that are informing you about things? And you can say, oh, let me show you briefly how you might decide to turn those off if you're getting too many. Are you getting too many? Would you like to see just very quickly how to turn them off? So that's something that I often get people asking about. I'm getting too many emails. Dazychain spamming me. Common occurrence. How did you go with that? I feel like you good. Mr. Russell.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just turning off the emails.
Right. Okay. So
Yep.
let's now go
Is there a save button on this, or does it just turn off and that's it?
No, most of it's auto-save, so it reduces clicks all along the way.
Oh, that's neat. That's good.
Will you tip down your screens again? I'm really keen for you to really get this as much as you can, because pretty soon we're going to have a number more customers, ones that I'm implementing, and I'm really keen for you to be able to answer their questions. This is the project area of Dazychain. On the left, you can see the menus that you can easily work through and navigate: projects, work list, calendar, invoices, documents, reports, and settings. And here are the different projects that are listed inside this grid. Pretty soon, and I'll show you the test version at the end of the training, we're going to be having grid views and folder views, as well as then dashboard views, which will be quite intriguing. First one I'm going to do to get you going is to actually invite you all to these projects. So this is a manufacturing facility lease, and I click on it, and inside I get the details of the project. Here's the details tab, collaborators tab, deliverables, attachments, and invoices. And you can click easily in between these different areas. Down below here, this area is the area which is the personal configuration for each different company. And I'll show you a few different configs so you can get the view. In here, we've got the opportunity to have drop-down lists, text type. You can get free text as well as anything you want, really. You can get lists, you can have numbers. We've got date pickers and such. We don't have a date picker in here. Bill to date. Yeah, no, we don't have that, but there's date drop-downs that you can enter. To invite people to join you on a matter, you click on the collaborators button, and you can see that I could invite Yaris groups that have been added to my system, or I can invite the particular users that I want. I'm going to invite you guys to this one. I've invited you, so next time you go back into your projects, you might need to refresh, but you'll be able to collaborators and invite it to a project.
Notification.
So now you're invited. Great. So that's really pretty much what Dazychain does in a nutshell. You have the opportunity to look inside a project. You can add collaborators to a project. You can add deliverables to a project. You can add attachments and invoices. To add a deliverable to a project, you click on the create new deliverable. You give it a title, and I'll say this is a non-disclosure agreement. I'll choose a workflow type. It's an internal. You can have, these also can have workflows on them. Right now I don't have workflows on these, but I'll show you an example of that. An internal item, I'm going to create it. And when I'm here, sets up this deliverable, and I can talk about a created date. I can give it a due date. I've got a date picker here. I can, when it's delivered, I can click to enter the date that it's delivered. For the new contract arrangement. It's been created, it's got a workflow, and everything green in Dazychain, see these here? These are action buttons. So I'm going to offer it, and then I'm going to assign it to you, Sarah. Okay.
What's offering?
That's offer it to somebody, and then you can propose it and you can offer it. So you can propose a role or some sort of a contract to an external service provider. So I'm not going to ask you for a proposal. You can provide us information. We can discuss it. Then I can recall it if I don't like it, or I can just give it to you direct down.
All right. So
A proposal's like a quote process?
Yeah. It's not good. So it's like you can propose it. They can provide you with information via comments or a document, and then most of them don't use proposals. They go straight to offer it. Okay, so now you can see Sarah's here, the NDA, all of these types. Attachments are very, very easy to attach. There's a few attachments on here already. Get rid of this. You just drag it across, and then it's here. You can also have different versions. If you want to look at the different version numbers, you click on the edit button, and you can see here the version numbers are here. So people will often ask you about this. I want to see my earlier version. All you do is you click on it, and then you can open it or download it. So if I want to see my early version, I click on download. Okay?
Yep.
Invoices are very straightforward. Usually the other person is the person providing the invoice to you. So to click on it, and you can see some invoice detail. I can approve invoices or reject them. I can also, the same thing. You can enter descriptions. You can talk about the state of it, and information down to very elaborate detail on the actual invoice itself, quantities and such. Okay.
Is there an escalation process for invoices, or just need to go to finance role, pretty much
Yeah, in fact, that's a really good question, because Dazychain is not designed to be a Nazi-style approval process, unlike legal panel gateway or console, which is you can't move past this gate unless you've done something. Although we're going to shortly put in some mandatory fields which won't allow you to proceed. But in general, it's supposed to be on a we know who we are, relative trust system. If you've got the finance role, you can also chat to each other via comments system. But yeah, you're supposed to be able to be in a position if you're have the finance role to be able to work that out yourself. We're not like the police in Dazychain. It's really not supposed to be. And if you have the finance role, then you should be able to manage that finance role. Otherwise, you can't see the invoice.
You recall your track with invoice and you just go back in your region, update it to in progress.
I don't know.
It's a full audit trail, so if there's multiple planners who approved it, I can see that.
I will have to check that out.
Other console LPG people.
Yeah. The point is that it's supposed to be a lot lighter. And we did originally have approval processes, and we took them out because people were just like, oh my God, it's just so bad.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
Yeah.
And they only gave the finance role to the finance people.
Yeah.
And then they have their own delegations and their own rules and their own policies, and they follow that.
Yeah.
So we didn't put their rules and processes and policies into Dazychain with regard to payment. That's your responsibility.
You can either like retract that you've accidentally accidentally rejected the invoice or accidentally rejected the invoice, you can retract that back.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Good question, though. I will find out.
Well, there's a recall button, so.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
recall.
yeah.
You can restart projects. You can recall projects there, but I'm not sure about an invoice. I kind of think that you can, but I don't know to be honest.
You're the system administrator in CAS. Do you have, if you had approved an invoice, are you able to see that somewhere? So that who did what previously?
Yeah, I'll approve this invoice. I don't spend a lot of time in approved. Let's see if I can add an approved by. Might be worth thinking about that.
Particularly with that open system.
Who did it?
Yeah. They'll ring up support and say, somehow this has happened. How did this happen?
Yeah. These are all fields that I can add to anything, which I'll show you shortly. Yeah, we need to
You need the finance manager.
see how I can add that field and then it's there. So see potentially add, and this can happen in every window. So what field do I want to have? I can add that. If I like that, I can
That's very
that
good.
filter. Voiced by project manager. Create a new user view. There I have invoice by project manager. And this is the default invoice. So anytime you want to change the way that you're using, like, and if I like this column better, I can actually just move it like that. Now it's over here. So I don't have to have, and then I can actually save that. Save that view.
So are all columns sortable though?
Yep. Hang on, I'll go back to this. Okay. Unit, contact, cost center, and here I can actually add, if I want to, I can add or remove columns here as well. So first I can filter. Actually, let's go to this work list. I'll go to the default work list. Now, every project has within it a set of deliverables. This is the general way that we progress. So let's first take this here, and we'll go through, actually, let's just go through the I'm digressing. Okay. So the training is all written out and you can refer back to it and I'll send it all to you. So we talk about what's Dazychain, what are the Dazychain menus, projects, workbook, calendar, invoice, and support. We'll talk about searching. We'll go to the action icons and buttons, so menu actions, action icons, using the column filters, filtering by date ranges, saving filters, and then filtering by multiple project dates. Then we'll talk about, how to start your own project and get going, creating, adding collaborators, deliverables, completing, adding documents and such. Then we'll look at the work list, and then I'll demonstrate the Dazychain Outlook email integration. I can give you a little bit of information about installing the Dazychain Outlook integration, but it's only for people with Outlook, but just so you know enough about it to be able to mention it to people. Okay. All right, so why on earth would people use Dazychain? I think it was originally designed to actually be a kind of a project management system for everyone, and it has really, over the course of time, because it commercially was just too broad, people looked at it and just went, oh yeah, that's a great idea, but I don't know, we couldn't really sell it. So what we've done is we've honed in on the GC group, the group general counsel, in-house counsel, lawyers who run matters. And it's much more for the GC than it is for anybody else, really. So it's really for people who want to work with others, share documents, engage with external providers, possibly, or internal people as well, in a way that ends up being a place to store their projects, their documents, and their information, and also to generate reports. Many of the people who work as in-house counsel are constantly trying to justify their existence. I guess like all of us, they want their boss to think, I am really strategic, I really am important. Money that you spend on well spent, and I know that you're looking over my shoulder, but I have no idea how to tell you all of this. So they're constantly trying to prove themselves useful because they're quite a cost center. Some of them, the GCs spend, well, we've seen how much legal for cycle, but that's the year that they've been through. I'm not sure. Well, millions upon millions. The Victorian government spent something like 80 million or 100 million a year on legal services. So when you're thinking about how to show that what you do is valuable and commercial and useful, you actually have to be able to report on it. And if you can't show people, oh, look, I took your $80 million and I spent it on this. People look at you like you've got 10 heads. You've got to show what it is, what you did, how you did it, how it was strategic, how it's important, how it affected your reputation. If you don't show people that, they just look at you like, well, let's think about how we can cut your costs. Let's make sure that we don't give you any more money because you're already spending more money than you should be spending. It's kind of an area where it's really commercially important to be, but if you don't spend the money well or be able to show how you spent the money, then they're going to keep cutting you. They won't give you good software. They'll work out how to outsource your department, or they'll try and dumb it down. So these people are always on the back foot. So how do I show people that I'm smart and useful and using your money well and protecting your reputation? So that's what this is for, really. That's why people would use Dazychain. And so with Dazychain, it helps you collaborate with the team, manage the workload, keep track of all the deadlines for you and all the rest of the team, and then streamline your workflow management, report on your work. And there are these 6 menus that we've discussed briefly: projects, work list, calendars, invoices, documents, and reports. Now, let's look at projects. So open up your screen again, let's look at your projects area. So on the project menu, let's get busy. Click onto the title of each column so you can see how you can sort by data. So you click on the project menu and then click on one of the bluestone projects that you've been given. Do you have there you go, good. Everyone got a bluestone project in there? You should have 2 projects. You should have manufacturing facility and molten cores distribution. Everyone got that?
Yep.
You all good? All right,
yep.
So click on the title, top of the title area. So engaged with, date, change date, business unit, and you can see that all the aspects of the project adjust. So a project houses all the activities, documents, communications, invoices, and payments that relate to this project. And You click on a new project by clicking on the green plus bottom at the right of your screen. We won't do that right now. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's now click on the work list menu. Let's take a look there. So the work list is where you view all of the work assigned to you and your team. In this screen, once again, you can see that the work can be varied. So inside the work list, click on the different areas at the top of the title area. So click on the default work list. You can see everybody. That's everybody's there. We haven't assigned any work to anybody yet, but maybe we can try to do that in a second. So click on here. You can see if you click on type, you can see what type of activity it is. You can see by due date. If there is no due date in it, it comes to the top of the file. So you'll see that we can enter a date if we need to, and then it will change and work according to that. You can see you initiated it. You can see the organisation we're in. You can see the type of activity. And all of these are listed by recency or first away, by alpha order. So very straightforward. Okay.
Cass, just on that, if I click on due date, even though it's not assigned to me, how come I can change the date?
It's because it's like a collaborative work system. So
Oh,
you're supposed
okay.
to know what you're. It's not supposed to restrict people from doing things. It's supposed to actually enable people to collaborate. So it's actually a different sense of responsibility in Dazychain than others. You're not supposed to be where you can't do stuff, where you can't take things over. In Dazychain, you can assign to other people, you can delegate it to other people, you can take it over. It's a very different way of working. I admit it's going to take a while because in telco construction land and in LPG land, it's very much a structured, strict, who can do what. But if somebody has not been invited to be a collaborator, then you can't see it and it's not on your work list. So you're collaborating on this project, that's why you can see it and that's why you can change it, because you've been invited. And if you haven't been invited, Okay, so click also on some of the little reports at the top there. They're the filtered reports, we call those. And you can see on the filtered reports at the top of the screen, Katherine's work list, Alex. Then I've created those so that they're very easy to create, and we'll create one ourselves when we've had a bit of a click around. So click on those as well.
They're organisational work list.
You can have one or two, yes. You can create them in one of two ways. You can have your personal work list, or you can have an organisational wide work list. Only people who are an organisational administrator can create an organisational work list. You can see the logic of that, otherwise there'll be 25 lines of these filter reports at the top of everybody's screen. Okay, let's look at calendar. Calendar is pretty underdeveloped at this point, but some people are actually using it, which is fine with me. If you click on calendar, you can see that there are different deliverables which are included in there. Yeah. Invoices is the same, there's only one invoice there. You can at least see there's a whole list of invoices, which you can then also create these sort of reports for, which are very handy for different, have 300 invoices, which is apparently what's happening at date for Rebecca Edmiston. Okay. Documents, let's have a look at the documents menu. Documents menu is pretty cool. We're working on a version of enabling people to chunk them up, but for right now, the beauty of documents is that it shows all the documents that only you are authorised to see, so it doesn't show all the documents, obviously. You can search and sort documents by, again, clicking on the title of the column. You can also type in the search window, so have a try at searching in the search window. That's the search documents area there. Type anything and you'll see that it's returned. This search is actually very powerful because you can find documents by title, by tag, by the last person who updated it, and by content. So it actually looks inside the document to see what kind of information. So for the George Institute, they care about finding out about things based on what different countries were there, who the project manager was. So you can, when you are searching for documents, it returns a very large amount of documents that, unless you can limit your search. So. The in-document search means that the search will return all the documents that contain that word. It's useful if you can't remember the project name or the project manager or whatever.
You search by date.
Yeah, you can search by last modified. I think you can search by date. You know there's a specific date. Okay, now the report menu, we're in the process of redoing this, so this is going to be bigger than Ben-Hur, but I won't show, let's just skip the report menu because that's going to be done probably by the middle of January. And we'll concentrate on the filtered report. Okay, so let's go back to the project menu and let's do some searching. So you can find projects, tasks, invoices using the search project fields. So on the main menu, you're in project, like in work list, in invoice or document. And on the screen, you enter a word of a project, task, invoices or documents you want to search for. So I'm currently in the document screen. I can search for documents there or anything I care for in a project. On the project screen, I can do the same thing. So here's the search project bar. You can search for anything in there. So let's go to the work list, and actually we need to assign a few things to you guys. Actually, let's start here. Working on the. All right, so let's filter. Actually, just. Okay, so currently we're on default and we have everything in the default work list. I've gotten rid of all that. If you still have other ones there, can you just click away or refresh and come back to the work list? This is where Dazychain is most powerful, and this is what people like most about it. What I'm going to do now is each of you can create a work list. We have Alex, Adam, and Katherine and Sarah here. Hey, Michelle, assign something to you. So we've got that capability of assigning, getting a work list happening. Right. Do we have a work list for you? No. I'll just assign you quickly. Deliverable. So this is just quickly how we can do this. Does everybody have that little slide now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Create our own course.
That's what we're going to do. Okay. Create your own. Great. Everyone's got dates for their deliverable. What you do is, first let's click on the show filter option. Great. Now inside you can type in any of these areas now. You can search by project, so I can look up manufacturing, and you can say that it only shows me the manufacturing stuff. I can look in by activities, so type in here and just see the different activities, so you can limit your search like that. You can also get an assignee list. So here's an assignee list. So right now, take a moment to type your name. And then you'll see that the list sweeps up and shows just the things that you're assigned to. Everyone got that? Got that,
Yep.
Russell?
Yep.
Your list? Okay, now we're going to go up here and say, Save Filter. Go to the little button across from the top right. Click on the Save Filter button. Now remember, you're all organisational administrators, so you can save either a user view or create an organisation view. I'd like you to create an organisation view by clicking on the toggle button and then naming it your first name, your last name, capital letters, make it nice so that it looks pretty. So Katherine King's work list. If you wouldn't mind making yours look really nice too, go with a reusable
case cap first.
I use it for a person's name, first and last name, capitalised.
Okay.
And then click on the create button, and then you can see that it creates a set of little lists for us. We've got Sarah's, Hamish's, and who's yours, Russell?
Yeah. What do I put in for the new organisation view? How do I spell it?
Yeah, just put Russell Kelly with capital R, capital K.
Okay. Yeah.
Russell Kelly. Got it. This means then that everybody who works with you can always see what you've got, and it means that they can take over your work if you go on holiday. It means that they can see what your due material is. It's a very accountable way of working. Got it, Ross?
I think I have, but I can't see it coming up in the I thought I did.
Oh, show more. There we go. Yep.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there, I got it.
If you create a new project you assign to me, will it automatically go into my workbook?
Yep.
Does that save search?
Okay, so now we're all in the show filter options area. Have a look how you can drag yours to the front. And then it changes the priority.
So from an organisational perspective, if the organisational filters go
That's why you need to be a little bit careful to have, think this through. People will call you and say, I can't find my stuff. My stuff disappeared. Did you click on, what are you clicking on? Go back to the default work list, click on the default work list, and then I'll say, oh, yeah, right, okay, it's all there again. Then click on your list, you can see your stuff.
How do you change yours to the start? On mine, yours isn't at the start.
Yeah, so it does for me. It has different views for different people. What I do is I'm in the...
I just refreshed.
Okay. What I do is I'm in the filter area, this little show filter options area.
Yep.
Mm.
And up comes the draggable. So to drag things across, you click hold, drag. So now I've dragged you to the front. See how I'm dragging it?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. They're all draggable, and that makes them the priority for you.
I don't need to save, it's automatic.
That's right, auto-save. Everything pretty much is auto-save except for a few organisational administrator roles. Well, even those are administrative functions. Okay. So you filtered, you saved the filter. Now go back to projects and create a filter. Work out what you'd like to do. Change it, get a filter date. Okay, so back in projects.
Default isn't draggable.
No, but you can drag the other path back to
Yep.
default. Yeah. Okay, is everyone back in projects?
Yep.
Rotating, okay. Right, so create a filter there for me. How do I, let's think about a date. So filter by date range. Area, each date, or the date. Click on the filter, show filter option, select a filter, and let's create a filter for yourself. I want to see if you can do it now. The test. This is a test. This is only a test. Did you get this banana for me, Hank?
I did.
Did you? Yeah. Thank you.
That's
really.
No, there's only 2 bananas, and I know who else loves bananas.
I do.
I didn't give you, there'd only been one, you wouldn't have got one.
Thank you.
I only have one project assigned to me.
Oh, which one do you have?
I've got manufacturing something. Manufacturing.
I will go to collaborators, all users.
Oh,
No. Okay. Yeah, same as Excel. That's right. So let's get a filter.
Okay. Has everyone gone? Have you got yourselves a filter date and saved it?
Yep.
hmm
Andy?
Russell, you were able to do that?
Yeah, I did. I did my last 7 days. That's, nothing came up. Well,
So it's working?
put that there.
No, it's because it hasn't changed. All right, let's go in and change things. Okay. So we filtered by range date, we save a filter view. We're filtered by multiple states. Just so you're aware how complex this can get. See when I'm in my current projects, I'll just go back to the current projects report. Look up for a second and close your screen. I want you to really pay attention because this is where people really get into trouble. I'm going to go in here. So what I'll do is I'll reduce my size. I can always reduce my size at any time. Did we lose you, Russell? Russell, did we lose you? We did. Okay, this is where it gets gnarly. Can we get him to call back in? Okay, the add or remove columns. That's okay, don't worry about it, Sarah. I really want everyone to watch this. So we've got a set of project fields. This is where I've gone. Okay, this is the show filter option. This is add or remove columns. This is really important because if people do this, they'll come to you and they'll say, I can't find my fill in the blank. Okay, we've got a set of project fields. We can add as many of these as we want to our grid at any point. So we may want to have the state, the title, who we're engaged with. We might want to have open invoices, rejected items, total invoice, total outstanding invoices, total paid. We've got inside the template additional information, business units, CC entries, external lawyers, other parties. We've got a matter list, business unit. I might want to say the date that it was opened, the cost center, any invoice stuff. So all of these fields I can have on my grid. I've finished it now. Clicked on there, and now you see my grid has changed, and it's created all of those. So then I can actually create a filter, save current view, or as add my current view. I can create a new user view, and this is like a project view. So I've pulled all of those things up off my grid and added them to this view. And I can also do that in work list. So when I'm looking at the work list view, I can also look at this and I can add or remove columns. I've got a set of deliverable fields, due date, who's the project manager, who is it raised by. I can finish it, and then I've got a new view here, and I can save that view as well. In terms of what you want to look at, Dazychain's really different in terms of the configurability. Did you get that, Trish?
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to look at one of my filter options, doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work? Talk to me.
I'm clicking on it, and I'm not seeing filter options.
Where are you?
Okay.
Click on it again.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Confusing
That's
myself?
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I
Don't
was
confuse
adding
yourself.
a column I wanted,
Okay.
not filter.
And so this way you can filter by states as you want. What you do is you bring, Trish?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You can create as much complexity as you want and then save it. Okay, so I'm going to show you a different view right now. I have no idea why I keep moving my screen now. Okay, this is a different company. I'd just like to show it to you as a matter of how people get right up their asses in terms of complexity. And I think it's really important to see how complex and ridiculous some people would really like their universes to be. Okay. So here's Ally Group. I've got a project for you. I have a pipeline status report that they'd like to look at. Check it out. A lead status report. Contract status report. Engagement and a provider report. So this pipeline status report is like how they run their business. And when I want to look at it, I can then download the data into CSV. It's really quick. So it comes out, then I can take that off to an Excel. Really only as quick as my Excel is. There it all is. Or I can also then print the dashboard. So here's the report as it stands. And I can print that off. When you think about how this works, it actually looks better on a big screen. Change my screen here.
You back with us, Russ?
Is that you, Russell? You might be on mute. Okay, so this is the giant view of Ally Group. So now you can see the level of complexity.
Hello, Russ?
Why can't my change screen through to make it? What am I doing wrong?
No, it is. So that's what we can see. Because you have two screens open, and only one of them is being shared to that Crestron TV. So what we would see, so what Russell has seen, is in that top right-hand corner, what GoToMeeting is showing us. So,
all right, let me go to the door. Okay.
Keith, you've got three screens currently running, so yeah, all good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry that I can't make that bigger for you, but in terms of the level of complexity, you can have it. That's really the point. So that's sort of where the we also have another. I'll give you an example here of George. So they have their reporting here. Here's their from key stakeholder view, which is interesting. Strategic report, which for them relates to complexity, expected size, reputational risk, and strategic importance. Interesting, different views of the world from them. Show you Sumitoma, who's the most complicated view of the universe I've ever seen. Really quite blew my mind. Their work list. Actually, I'm going to interact with. This is their deliverable on one project. So they had a number of different collaborators, and they created this view of the world so they could look at it in terms of activity types. They ended up not taking it. I think they just couldn't fathom how to make it work. They created work lists for individual people, work lists for projects, and work lists by project. And here's the default work list, which had, bigger than Ben Hur, basically. So you can see how complicated, how much detail it is. The Bendigo and Adelaide Bank version has work lists for so many people and a number of different projects, and then they search by different types. So let's get into starting our own projects now. I'll just go back to See how, these are different organisations. And you'll probably have different organisations as time goes past as well, to which you'll be invited either by a customer or by me.
We've got time for a 5-minute break. Have a coffee before we launch into creation.
Yep, good time to
Thank
stop.
you.
Caffeinated beverages would help. All right, next what we'll do is we'll create projects, we'll create work lists, we'll create deliverables for ourselves and see what we can do to just make sure that you've got that, the day-to-day working sort of going.
Just so you're aware too, I'm recording the session. I'll throw that up on YouTube just for our use.
It'll be restricted though, won't it?
Yeah.
Just right.
It goes into an category, so.
Because I'd love to actually record the Dazychain training one day if you would help me.
Great.
We do it together, and I've pretty much got a pattern the whole thing down. I've done it so many times now. But we would do it though without the demonstration. So take a moment now to have a look at this and try that out for yourself. Come back to the press pause and come back to me when you've had a chance to have a look at that.
Cool.
What do you think of Dazychain so far?
Good.
Good. Pretty straightforward.
Well, smart features. I've got to train myself to not look for a save button.
You'll be amazed how quickly you get used to it. If the saving thing is just complete bullshit waste of your day's time. It's incredible. How many times in your life have you pressed the play button? Autosave has its own horrible tragedy. So, I mean, the tragedies of autosave creation. A pain that the team has. Oh, is it?
Hello, is that you, Hamish?
No, it's me.
I'm in, but I just need to look at the screen I've got is the starting your own project screen. Is that right? There's a doco. It's a doco.
It's taking a 5-minute break, so no one's here except for me.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee then. Okay, bye.
I knew that Russell would call every time that everyone walked away, and he did. That's why I stayed here. So I was like, I bet you that he'll be like, hello, who's there? And he did. That's classic Russell, like, no, just as we take a 5-minute break and what time was like,
he's back.
and then he just was like, hello, and I was like, that's why I stayed here. So I was like, I bet you that everyone leaves the room, he would just be like, what? left alone.
You seen Star Wars?
Yeah, I actually want to.
Today.
Huh?
I think it's out today.
Yeah, it was, they did a preview. Oh, wasn't it the preview tonight, though?
Yeah.
The preview tonight at, Crown, it's out, I think, early December. Not early December. I think it's out, like, officially tomorrow, but, or, maybe it's 20th. I think it's next Thursday. I'll just take a look at,
I'm like avoiding all the trailers and stuff.
This is going to be the last one because I really can't go through this whole prequel and like.
The last movie.
Huh?
The last Star Wars movie.
No, but like you know how they did the whole like Anakin Skywalker, like that was horrible. They're boring. But
It's
I mean,
great. It's going to be 3.
What comes with that?
no, I would treasure it.
This one's a trilogy.
Yeah, this is the last one. It's really
No, it's the second one.
Actually, everyone just gave me an
Rogue
extra
One
large
wasn't.
T-shirt and Uniqlo for Christmas. I would be
sure. I don't like that.
All I want, all I want for Christmas is a Uniqlo T-shirt.
This island at the time everyone walked away.
Of course he did.
That's why I stayed here. But like, I bet when everyone's on the room, would be like, hello.
Laura.
And he did. He was,
Session's over.
yeah, so you can still like a stay, he'd be like, darling back in.
Alright.
So the fields that we see available on the admin things, are they customer specific? I saw,
They can be, yeah.
I saw allied group
Yeah,
name. And,
yeah, that's right. So see, when you're inside a project, inside Bluestone, there's a template, a project template. See these attributes here?
Yeah.
I can add all of them to the group. All of these, all of these. So I'll show you how. When you're in
so
project,
can I define my own attributes as well?
yeah, all definable. So any attribute you want to define, you just stick it in there. So it could be, what would it be?
Approved by for the inbox.
Yeah, okay, approved by. So yeah, hey, very easy, approved by.
Yep.
In fact, what we would do is, I can show you exactly how we do that. So say we're in, we're in ally group. We go to,
Hello.
hi, how are you?
You're back, Russell.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in there watching it, but I couldn't. My mute, the thing went off here. My,
What button
Mute.
did you push?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm seeing starting your project. Is that right? Is that just a document?
Okay.
Training
Yeah,
document?
I'll just change it. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
right.
Screen, show screen. Okay. Right, now you should be looking at the screen again with the Bluestone projects. Everyone got Dazychain meeting, manufacturing facility, etc., Molson, scores, distribution,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Great. Right. Now let's go to starting our own project. Sorry? Maybe I didn't invite you, sorry. I might have been a bit too exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Now, what we're going to start into is starting your own project. So this is where you work on a day-to-day management of your projects, sort of when you're starting them, when you start your day generally. It's where you can start them, you can view projects, you can create a new project, collaborate, deliverable, document search, engage suppliers. So what we're going to do is to now actually go into the plus button and create a project. Now give it a good name, don't give it a shit name, it's not allowed. It's not easy to delete a project in Dazychain. Okay, so once you've started it, you have to be really clear about what you're doing before you start it, because you don't want to be in a position to have to think that you're going to delete it because you're not. So what would be a good project name for each of you? Think about a project name. This company does a lot of legal services that relate to transportation. They do beer, wine, they do real estate, they have transportation and logistics. So I suggest that when you create your project, it has something to do with one of those. So I'm going to call mine Southeast Asian distribution distribution project. I'm going to choose a workflow. Everyone got a name for their thing? Got a name?
Maybe not creative.
Okay. How
Can I
about
do transport accident project?
sorry?
Can I just do transport accident project?
Sure. Trish, what have you got?
I've got panel engagement for Southeast Asian distribution project.
We don't want panel
Or engagement, it's, I've got it down, one is a panel
Oh, okay.
of providers to do this. So is this,
You would do that just in the panel management area.
okay, so it's not a project to set up the panel, so this is the engagement process.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
offering contracts, I need to
Okay.
go out to tender.
Yep.
So those sorts of things.
All right. What have you got, Haynes? What have you got, Sam?
I've no idea.
I've got distributor agreement with Giant Pub Group.
Okay. Okay, Sam? Giant pub.
Giant Pub Group.
Okay, Sam, how about soft drink distribution, soft drink distribution, North America or something. Okay, now we're going to choose a workflow, and let's choose a workflow with there are lots of different workflows, and in this particular project, I haven't created a custom workflow, but I have for the other customers. We'll go into that. But right now, what we'll do is create a project workflow. Just do it internally collaborating. That way we won't get ourselves into a issue.
Oh,
So click
shit.
on the internal. What you do, Russell?
Oh,
Click the create button.
Can that be changed?
Yes, no, it can't.
That website?
It can't, but just go with it now. It doesn't matter which one you've created. Don't worry, Russell, if you've got the wrong one. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, now what we're going to do is to create the other areas of it. So we created a project. Now we're going to, after the create button, we're going to put in the project summary. So we've got a title for the project, and that can be.
yep.
Going to enter a short description, normally just 1 or 2 words, or maybe up to 6. Some people write quite extensive notes to themselves inside this area. You can also, interestingly, reduce the size of this now the browser has changed. Okay, everyone cool? Okay, now click on collaborators. And up here you can add the manager. So I'm currently the manager of mine. You can, once you've invited other collaborators, you can change the manager as well. Okay, so invite this whole group here. I'm inviting Hamish, Trish, Russell, Sam, Sarah. So if you wouldn't mind doing the same thing, then everyone can see your project.
Can you see, if you're currently the manager by default, why isn't it showing the details on the manager anyway?
One was.
Mine wasn't. It showed me as project initiator, but not as manager.
That's one, yeah, or does that populate when you start the project? You can, if it's by default.
That's a good question, Sarah. I'm not sure. Why is there no default project? I'll check out.
Before you obviously change it to something else.
Raining, is it? It's just your screen. No.
Anyone need
Mine normally makes the rain noise. Doesn't seem to be me at the moment. Yeah, it's 25%, but I would checking out your power arrangements already.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh. And so collaborators is great, right? Are these are always going to be the same system groups? Like you're not going to have more than just like 4, right? You can have actually as many groups as you want. There's only just 4 system groups, is that right? For now, yeah. So system groups, but what happens is, when you're in the collaborators, up and see where it says My Groups, the top left band. See here where my cursor is. Inside there, you can have groups that you've set up where you can allocate individuals within your organisation to different groups. So you could have finance in Asia, finance in Australia. You could have project interacted group. You could have you can have any group you want to. As an organisational administrator, use the group area. You can create a group and you can assign to it. Oh, okay. So then, Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia, you can have provider.
Yeah, so there's more than just the default that we're seeing, which is not the default. 4, so there will be more groups that you can create. Is that right? There will be like finance, and then there'll be another group that you can do.
So you could define more roles for.
You can define as many as you want. Roles for the organisation.
I was wondering why
So
it was given.
these groups appear to be consistent with the roles that you assigned us to.
There's different roles, different words.
Okay. So when you came in and set us all up,
Yeah.
these groups were what you were telling us was the roles that we would be fulfilling.
I gave you a role,
Yeah.
but I haven't set up groups.
So the roles that you gave us aligned with these, what we're
That's
saying
right.
here is the group.
Yes, they're called system groups, but in your own mind, try to get it clear that
So there's my group, so you can have my groups and then you can have another group with other roles and it's hidden because it could be a long list. Like when you first go to the collaborators, it's not just like open for you to see straight away.
that's right.
My group could be New South Wales and
That's
Victoria.
right. And it's listed in that group there, but
So at the moment, we're just my group. That's what it says, my group there. Is that right? Oh, okay. And I was wondering why it was just, the whole group. I think it was just like standard group.
yes, not, because it can be, so many groups can be, it can confuse the living daylights out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a system that works for different people. Okay, so where are we? We're inside our new group, and I've done the Southeast Asian distribution group, so I've added you all as collaborators. And then let's think about a set of deliverables. Okay, so let's take a moment now to assign deliverables to each other. So here is some classic deliverables that you might want to assign to each other. We've got a non-agreement, we've got services agreement, we have contract on sale, contract for real estate, employment contract. You take from any of them as a deliverable that you can create. So to do that, what do you do in Dazychain? What colour are you looking for with the connection button?
Green.
Oh, good. Big green button. Good button. Big green button. And in design, where it always is. You're adding a project, you're adding a deliverable. Okay, so you're in the deliverables area. What you're going to do is add a deliverable. What are you going to do?
Click the big green button.
Yep, click that big green button. So you need to be on your project, Sarah.
Yeah, am I adding people as well as collaborating? Is that what
You're adding collaborators. That's it. You're done. So go back to the project. We'll go to deliverables. Right, everyone should be on the deliverables tab. Anyone not in the deliverables tab? Russell, you in the deliverables tab?
Yep.
Russell, because you can't see what I've written up on the board, type a NDA. So click on the click on the green button, then add a deliverable.
Yep.
Click on the button.
Yep.
Okay. Great. So type a deliverable title.
Yep. Done it.
Type non-service agreement. And then choose a workflow. It's an internal item or an internal activity. Usually it's just an internal item. What's the difference? One has the capability of having our or item numbers assigned to it. So an item is one thing, whereas an activity can be an ongoing thing. So then click on the create button.
Yep.
And there you have The deliverable has been created. Right, now we're going to go up to the top green button. We've got lots of things that we can do. Let's click on the little green dot buttons to the right, all the way to the right. You found them, Russell? 3 green dots.
Yep.
Top right. On that, you'll see you can start progress, you can cancel, you can assign, you can take over, you can unassign. Click on the assign button.
Mm-hmm.
Then assign it to somebody else, anyone in your group. So you should see Haynes, me, Trish, Russell,
Yep, gotcha.
Sam, and Sarah.
Yep, done it.
Okay. Okay. We're all hitting Sam. Sam, you're a busy man, my friend. Okay. Click on a due date. So click on due date and give it a due date. Sam's going to be very busy.
Yeah, no Christmas break, Sam.
Don't click on a delivered date because it's not going to be delivered yet. Then click on a short description.
Yep.
Okay, and then click on start progress.
Click on what?
Start progress. Top right green button.
That's weird that I clicked it twice. I didn't press start because it says stop now, but it's still green. So I was just like,
Remember, it's an action button.
yeah, I thought
Okay,
that
add another
it was
one.
red.
Add another one. See how easy it is to add a deliverable and make people do work.
So the deliverable assignee field, so that's just, you can't click on that, you've got to actually just go to the little green.
Oh, you
Ah.
can.
You can't
That's
just
interesting.
click it out.
You can do, but you should be able to. But
Yeah.
What?
Spam.
Yeah, so you can turn. You can remember. You can turn it off.
Yeah.
Remember, you can. But I want you to see the email spam so you get it, so you understand people's pain.
I cleared mine out before.
Okay, everybody, click on another deliverable and get a deliverable to somebody else.
Oops. I thought I did.
And it could be services agreement, contract of sale, employment contract, or any one of those sort of things. Remember to assign it to somebody by the top right, three buttons.
Yep.
And enter a due date. All right, now everyone can go back to the work list of horror to see all of the new things that have been. Maybe you can click on your default work list to see the whole list. And see how quickly it can just be bang, 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 everyone's got shit to do. That quick. Remember, you can click on the assignee to see alpha order, and you can also then go back and click on your own work list. So I've clicked on my work list, there's my stuff. Oh, do you have anybody assigned anything to me? Me. Let's look at Sarah's work list.
Definitely what you wish for.
Here's Trish's work list. Sam's work list. Russell. Okay, so see how it's working? It comes back and it gives you a list of assigned. So you can see it's a great way of keeping track of things. If you want to here, now let's all go in here into the default work list. And let's really freak out Dazychain by everybody picking an assignee and changing it to a different assignee. Go sort of top of the list, middle of the list, bottom of the list. Okay, so we're in work list. I'm going to reassign this one from Hamish to Russell. What I could do is if Russell's going away, or Trish is going away, or Hamish is going away, get Hamish's work list. And because Hamish is going away, I can take all of Hamish's things over the course of the time he's away and then reassign them to somebody else. See how easy that is? Hamish is going on leave, bang, 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 I can reassign.
We're going on leave, Hamish.
Soon enough, friend.
All right, so let's go in and complete some of these deliverables. Let's not complete them all. It's nice to have a nice to-do list of things to do. Okay, so why don't you go to your work list and then click on a deliverable and then put in a delivered date. I've delivered this early. And I click on the complete button.
Oh, okay. I think I completed it.
Oh, I must have fucked up the date. Yeah, I did. Delivered date was before the due date there. And then I can close it.
Error, unable to perform.
Oh, that's probably because your, yeah, it could be. Or your delivery date was before the due date.
So it's, I've delivered it, why is having a deliberate date doesn't automatically complete the deliverable? Completion is a separate action?
Yeah, sometimes it's sent over to the person who requested it. They need to look at it before.
Why do I have it?
Because you completed your work. Remember, it's not supposed to be totally hard. It's not supposed to be a,
Okay, so that confuses me. So, so if I put a delivered date and it requires approval, then I shouldn't have a complete button. If I click on the complete,
send a note to somebody to go and check it. I completed my deliverable. So the person who's requested it or the other people in there say, okay, she's completed that. You know, like when we do work ourselves, oh, Hamish has finished the blah, blah thing that he needed to do for Steve Ellich. Great, that's complete. I can go and check it.
Why does the putting up the delivered date, entering a delivered date not automatically mark it as complete and initiate that? How can I put a delivered date in if I haven't completed it? Does that make sense?
If it's complete, just sends an email notification. Okay, yeah. That's a good point. I mean, it should do that.
It should, yeah. Okay, cool.
Probably an extra step we don't really want to be halfway pedal. All right. Everyone pretty much got that?
My offered one is
Offered this one? Did you offer it to you or to somebody else? Sorry, where is it?
Even though it told me I can't do the extra, it seems to have done it.
Yes, I found that too.
Which one?
So the distribution NDA, I said the due date is, sorry, the deliver date is today, so the create date is in there.
I did the same. Is that what is?
Let's try another one. Australian brick sheet.
The testing room, testing aspirations is showing here.
Oh, the grammar thing.
What is it?
It's just the grammar.
Yes. No, error, unable to perform section.
Sorry, what is it trying to do? It could be because your delivery date is before your due date.
Oh. I also haven't completed the unit of measure, the unit rate, or the quantity.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. Put a 0, 0, 0. I'll take that.
And if it doesn't, I'll just let you know.
Yeah.
Odd.
It's always going to be a little weird thing, so I'm happy to get the feedback.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it's, using it in anger by people who already understand these kinds of systems is really important. Okay, let's all upload documents now. Go into your project. Let's work out how you can upload a project. Okay. Click on your project. Everyone there, clicking on their project?
Yep.
I'm in Southeastern Asian distribution. Has everyone started their project before?
Yeah.
It helps if you start. If you haven't started your project, then that may be the source of errors. It's interesting that you could work on it without it being started. If it says start project from the top right, it's
that why
bringing you into the
probably
project.
Okay. Could be project wasn't even started yet, but then,
I'll check into that though.
It said it was in progress even though I hadn't started it.
All right, we're here, inside the project.
Changed all of my,
What did it say?
changed all of my deliverables from being completed to in progress.
When you put the project in
I
progress.
changed the project.
so you were able to complete the deliverables before the project started and
Yeah.
start the project.
And then it opened them all again.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so let's go to attachments. We're going to upload some documents to the attachments tab. Maybe you've got a few things on your current workspace that you can attach. So take whatever you've got there. Just be aware that you don't want to use anything that's weird or whatever. Private. You don't want, minutes from a key meeting. You don't want to, let's be a bit careful about that. I'll drag them across. You can also search for documents, so you can browse to attach files. Okay. Everyone got a couple of things added? Russell got a couple of things added?
Yeah, I've got
Sarah,
one.
you've
I'm
got
just
some?
doing another one.
Yeah, get a couple up there so you can play with it. Trish, you got a couple up there? Hayne, all good?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an area of confusion to customers. If you click on the edit button of one of your documents, you can see that over here is a really stupid button called privacy. If you don't want to share a document, you actually have to say that you want to share it, otherwise it's private. I'm thinking of making it into a shared as a default. So if you click on, you'll definitely get calls about this. You've got to click on make shared, or click on it to make it back to private. So if you want to share it with an external service provider, so say you've sent work out, if you don't click on the make shared button, it won't be shared. So the people who will get this problem are law firms who will say, you've lost my document. I have it on my system, but I can't send it to the client. And the reason is that usually they haven't made the document shared. It's on my system, but it won't send. They can't see it for some reason. They don't have access to it. So you'll need to click on the make shared button. You can also, it's really important here, about adding tags. If you want to have a really powerful, for your customers, a really powerful system, adding tags ends up being a great way of searching. So you guys know what tags are, presumably?
Yep.
Yes?
Yep.
So you click on the create a tag, and you can say CAS, I could say JPEG, picture, and then I can search on those. So the tags are associated down here, and then you can search on those. Okay, so this is one of the ones where I've got a save button, because I can do more than one thing at a time. So click on save to get out of there. So now I've got these tags, and when I'm up in here, I can go back to the documents area and I can search for anything, or I can edit. So say, for example, I'm here, I've got a document, and I just want to look up JPEGs. There they are. Or I can look up the CAS. So anything that's got a tag on it. Okay, so everyone's had a go at adding a document. Has anyone had trouble with the adding documents?
I can't get the add tag to work. It's blocking me.
Click in the box next to it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
What's that?
Yep.
So you've clicked on the edit button,
Oh yeah, got it. Yep, now got it. Yep.
and you type in the little box next to it where it says minimum 3 characters, create a tag. See that there?
Yeah, got it.
Got it. Okay. And you can also, from remember where you can look up, take it and go to the document that you added before. So previously I added a version of this bluestone JPEG. I'm dragging it across again. I'm dragging it across again. You can see it goes green. I'm dragging it across, and now you can see that I've got a bluestone JPEG.
Yep, the top. Yeah.
Bluestone JPEG 2. Okay, so go inside and drag a copy of your document so that then you can see how you've got a version 1, version 2. Just anything, just drag 2 of anything. Just make sure it's like not confidential, okay? Got a version of something there, Sam? Just drag something easy across. Got a 2? Michael JPEG or something? You need to drag into the green section.
Right.
Into here. Drop file here. Got 2 of something?
Yep.
Got 2 of something? Yeah. Okay, got 2 of something?
Is there somehow
Open it up. You're gonna,
Yeah.
you're gonna, yeah, just drag.
yeah, I'm trying to see my doc.
Oh, you've got to drag it into the area. And drag it into there. You need to drag it into here. Drop file here to attach.
Okay.
Box.
Where is it?
Green.
Put it now. This is what I did before when I shut it Daisy.
Okay. Here we go.
How did you do that?
On green. Now just drag another version of over there so you get 2.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I've got 2, Russell. Everyone's
I got two. Got 2. Now, where do I? I can add it again, can I? Is that right?
That's right. So you add it again. So
Yep.
see I've got 2 versions of .jpeg.
I see.
Right. Everyone needs to have a 2 next to their version, so you can see the version 1, version 2.
Yep.
Okay, so now go to the edit button and click on the edit next to the version where you've got 2 versions of your file.
Yep.
Everyone there?
Yep.
So now you can see on version. If I want to, I can download my earlier version. Okay, so I could download my number 1.
Oh, I see.
Download. So people will ask you, how do I save my earlier files? How do I retain my earlier files? So now I've downloaded my earlier one. It's present there. With JPEG. I can cancel out of there. But it saves all of your versions in that area. You go into the edit mode. If you want to, you can delete files from here. I won't delete them, but it's just very straightforward. If you don't want them here anymore, you
That deletes all versions of that.
yes, it does. Yeah. I confirm and see how, yeah, confirm deletion.
So it's not possible to delete a single version.
No, there isn't.
So if I wanted to revert to my version, I just set it to version 1 and then click save.
Yeah. So you can click on
brings it back to version 1. Okay.
So, can I download from here? Or
No,
do I
you can.
need to edit? So which version does it think it's?
You download based on this button here, see?
Yeah. So even download through the.
It doesn't, it appears to not revert back inside Daisy 6 with the latest version. If you want to download early, you can. Can't go back and say number 1 is Premiere.
Yeah.
But you can download it, then you can rename it. You can just save it back and go back to number 5. I think that's a protection that we argued over. Yeah. Okay, how are we going on time? 11:13, well, play.
We only have this room to.
Yep. Okay. We pretty much most of the things. Look at the work list menu briefly. We've had a good look at this project and the work with it. I feel like such an old lady when I can't find my friggin' mouse. Okay. Remember, people will ask and say, I can't find any of the activities on my work list, so you'll need to tell them to go back to their default work list.
Yep.
When you're in the work list, you can find any of these projects. All of these, which are underlined, mean that you can click through to it. You can enter dates from here, so it's a very practical kind of a work listy thing. You can change people. You can take over, unassign, etc. When you close on the work list, you can click at activities you want to close. It has to be completed, then you can close it. Sometimes there's some weird shit about the closures, which we need to work on a bit. Right, now if you wouldn't mind shutting down your computers again for a minute just to concentrate on this section, I'll show you this. This is the Outlook integration with Dazychain. This is where we think there's going to be a lot of value. The problem with this is that I'll show you anything. Oh, I can't. We just don't have Outlook. It's very inconvenient to show it on. I always show it here. Okay. Here we go. We've got Outlook email. This is the way that the modern versions of Outlook look. We only currently integrate with, I think it's 2010 and above. You can see the widget here. This is the Dazychain widget. It's added by a simple process, and we've got instructions for that. You can see the email and the attachments down below. What you do is you click on the Dazychain widget, and it brings up Dazychain. Okay. And then we can search for projects here. I'll put it on the Crawford project. I can either add all or add individuals. So I'll add them all. This is an annoying thing here. I can also from here start a new project. So if I want to, I get a matter, I say, right, Dazychain, start up a new project for me, and then it goes bang, and stuff across. So for people who have new matters, here, okay, so here's what I'm going to send. Dazychain asks us, here's the start, here's the email, the files are included, letter of intent, the product outline document, and I'll send it. Then I can say, okay, I'm done, all good, or I can view the Dazychain. And here's the version of Dazychain where I can view it. Here are the attachments that were sent.
With your email?
It doesn't actually do this. It actually puts the email up here. All of our customers said, I don't want it in, I want a copy of the email in documents. So we're going to redo this so we can show it to people. They said I want a text copy so that if I have to go to court, I want to have the text of the email.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty straightforward. So the beauty of this idea is that you can start up a new version of any project when you want one.
Cool.
Looks good.
And I think that, see, the point is that it's actually really time consuming starting up a new project, and basically people can start up by setting up an inbox into their, we could have, if we were a GC, a mailbox to which everybody in the company can send a request for a new project.
Just scrape it and create the.
So pretty straightforward. Okay. Done that. So we're done. But I would like to just take 10 minutes at the end to demonstrate to you the fabulousness and gross annoyances of being an organizational administrator in Dazychain. I both love and loathe this section. I think what I will do is I'll show you sections. My organization groups, and panel management. Inside the users, very straightforward. To add and subtract users, it's just another green button, right? Add user, enter their email, first name, last name, job title, etc. And what happens is, this is really important, it sends an email to that person, right? That person clicks on it, but then the organizational administrator has to go back in to assign them roles. So they won't be able to see anything until the roles have been assigned to them.
Can you assign roles before you click on the menu action? So you create the system, can you assign the roles and then get the email sent?
No, and if anybody else, it's literally something we've nearly killed each other over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it is right now. And that's because for a security reason, if companies have a project collaborator all, where the group is, we send it to all project collaborators, you need to have that role assigned to you prior to starting to work in Dazychain. Otherwise, you'll suddenly, when you get in, have access to everything.
So you cannot assign the roles and have that indicated in the email notification that's sent out?
No, not right now, but it's something that we have argued about. And right now, the security model doesn't really allow it. So, yeah. So when you're in here, and you have a set of people who are the users of the organization, you click on the person, you've got an opportunity to change their role status here, and here's where you change their role by clicking on it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But whatever you do, do not give a person organizational administrator access until you've spoken to me, or you've been requested by the head of that person's organization who works with us. Don't do it. Really don't do it, because the damage they can do is really elaborate.
So if I assign a person a role, they put their email, I've now assigned them a role, can they see anything till they've been associated to a project?
That's right, no they can't. Until they've been invited to a project, they won't see anything, they'll see a blank screen. Okay, now we have here's the access and groups area that we spoke about. I can create a group here. So this is something that we would be here. Menu actions. I can add a group name. What happened there? Okay, group name. I'll call it Australia. And I'll save it. And then I'll edit it. Description. Receiving group, yes. So a receiving group can be people within an organisation who get all of the information as it's done, and we knew that they would need that in law terms. Collaborator. Okay, menu actions. Okay, yeah. Group has to be selected to show the user allocated, but the group has to be selected. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, why does it not let me add a collaborator?
Why are you not the collaborator by default?
That's right.
If I've created it, my group.
I'm doing something wrong. I know I am, so. Okay, then I click on the group. That's it. Sorry, I haven't done this for a while. I'll add you guys to this group. It's always me doing something wrong. Craig and I argue about this all the time. It's not because it's hard. I'm weird with it. It's because I'm an idiot. And,
No, you're
you're not.
an idiot. So you're not doing hard. I mean, if you do something wrong.
It's not sure that you think the rest of it didn't relate to the error that in anyway. Because like you chose not to make the default or the other one.
yeah.
And then they would be saved, but then when you said yes, you have to have the
It's just, yeah. Okay, now let's look at the panel management. This is very, very easy. This is very simple, simplistic and simple. Oh, I wonder if I don't have that. Okay, menu action. Create a new panel. Okay, details, we'll call it preferred suppliers. I'll call it general panel. And then what I will do is I can publish it, I can remove it, I can create it. This is mine. I'll publish it. And what I'll do now is I'll actually get some preferred suppliers by adding an organization. I'll just search a few. Okay, I'll select them. Done.
Yep, that's good.
Created. We have a double here, so I'll let things for a minute. And I can type in by service type or details.
So you could select send how many times to do this.
Yeah. Okay. So I just remove that. So there's my panel. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Then when it comes to me setting up a project, and I start a new project, I can work with external payments. And then when I start it, I can actually offer it to all of Australia.
We can select supplier.
Well, Russell said, so select supplier, is that what you're doing?
Select supplier. Yep. So now I've got a, I can do a keyword search where I can look up the arrows.
And is that your panel?
Oh yeah, I can select it off a panel too. So I can select the mortgage profile.
Okay.
So it's straightforward, and then I can offer it to them or ask for a proposal.
I'm itching because there's not save buttons. I'm like, how do you know it's working?
And you're automatically
I can recall
more pop-ups to see that you save, so you kind of like,
Yeah, see how you can now see the chosen supplier, offered by me. I can recall it if I don't like, if I want to
what if they offer it at the time that you exactly recall it? Does it do anything?
They can
though?
accept, but I think you can still, you can cancel it, you just cancel it.
Okay.
You can cancel a project. Okay, check these out. These are through the workflows. We've looked at panel management, so I can actually create new workflows if I want to. I take a workflow based on external payments, an internal collaboration workflow, or a workflow without invoicing, and I can also create workflows on internal items and activities. This is where the head gets a little bit screwed up. So I can create a new one, and we should probably take a different day to go over this, but I don't think we want to belabor it, but you can see a set of custom fields that you can create. So I've got matter register and matter list. You know how we had that down below each project inside, and every person that I've set up has quite complex templates that are underneath.
So it's creating it within the project. Yeah.
Create tabs. I always put them in A and B, just so otherwise you end up just, your head goes completely insane. So the tabs, I generally give them an A and a B, stick them in alphabetical order. So I can add more, region, function, matter, whatever. But so say I want to add a new one of these, matter register, matter list. So what I would do is I would say, C accounting. I'd save, and then I'd start adding fields to this group. Say, invoice approved by, select a type. This one is a text field. I'd turn privacy off so we can all see it. Invoice approved by actuals for the project. Select on the field. I could also add something like next due date, select a date type, privacy off, and then I've got accounting. And then when I set up select a workflow, I actually need to set up a workflow here. Oh no, I can do this. I know what I can do. So I can add this to all of the future projects. It doesn't add to the past projects.
Right.
The workflow, and link it. This is where it gets really, really foul.
Just create.
I'm going to link it to field groups. I've got matter register and matter list on here. So now link to C, accounting. I'm going to add it to my field group. I'll close it. And then when I start up a new one, it'll be on there. I say that so confidently. Okay, so now we've got A, B, and C. Matter register, matter list, and accounting, as we had added it. Invoice approved by project. So in terms of actually changing people's templates, that could.
It's good.
So that's taking it to the logical extreme. Initially, I don't let anybody else touch those sections of the stuff. I think that you can see how quickly it can just turn to shit. So say with this one, the level of complexity is so high that if you stuff with people's projects, look at this one. Here's commercial negotiation, transaction document completion, execution. We've got all these drop-down lists. Dates.
How many can you have?
Many you want. Satisfy conditions precedent, completion deliverable, governance. Okay, so just in terms of the level of complexity, you can have it. You can have as much as you want. And then, of course, when you've got these, why isn't this working?
fields that you've created,
See how it actually hurts your brain?
part of the workflows, they're all available in the grid view.
That's right.
The project.
That's right. You've got it. That's the point.
Work list.
So if I wanted to, inside here, see all these? I'm going to work with, add my filter option. I can add or remove columns. And then I've got this shit ton of fields that I can add, change date, by all of these.
Right. So if you're looking
Same, I'm at the
project,
project level.
there'll be more.
That's right. So I can go to my add or remove columns. I've got all the fields about commercial negotiation that I can report on. Execution, satisfying the conditions precedent. I could look at completion, deliverables,
And then you can
governance.
then you save your work list.
Yeah, you got
You've really got one.
totally saying, what do I care about?
How many views as you
That-
want.
But a lot of people can't understand it. It's just too much for their head to get.
Brains on walls.
So we get it. So what questions have you
I've got a couple of questions just around the sort of support queries that I've seen come through in the past. My questions are more around how do we coordinate with the Daisy team,
Yeah.
and when we would expect the people in this room to start handling the new requests that come through.
What we should do is have it whereby we share the Dazychain questions for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. We're sharing them, look, and you guys have tried answering it. Is it this, is it that? Then get a bit of practice at it. And before we just sort of like hand it over, because it takes a while to get with any app, and if you're not using it all the time, it's rusty. It could be to share it to the Dazychain group and then have a go at it. We won't get, no. We won't get.
Is that his nickname at home?
No, just she's very open. You'll get like him.
You're good, Russell. So the trick would be to share it together and talk about, say, okay, what do we think the problem is here?
Yeah.
Take 3 minutes to discuss it. And then say, yeah, no, it's that. Yeah. And then be able to also, I guess an important thing is to be able to understand where the help is. Where I'm at now, Dazychain help, use where else to guide you. Just skip those. And then need more help, you go here. And inside here is the help guide. Welcome to Dazychain. The help guide's pretty substantial. Who is it? Being an org admin, navigating around, panel management, custom field, creating symbols, blah, 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 there's a lot. So there's a lot of information there that any point you can get. You can look it up. The things that people get stuck on are generally the, I can't find my, they didn't get my, I'm digging through a bunch of this list and they don't know how to use the filtered report. The stupid, I've lost my password thing. I can't find my login or password.
Very polite.
Yeah, but he didn't leave his freaking name, you know. He left a general telephone number.
Andy.
Anyway, yeah.
Andy, yeah. Do the password link on the front page, the app.
Yeah, so that's what I suggest we do. So for about 3 months, I'd reckon we are very carefully doing a bit of a discussion before we provide answers. We don't want to provide the wrong answer. They're just really, because these are all new users, they're not very sympathetic to a wrong answer.
Sure. The way it's currently arranged, that when people call Dazychain, it lands with the customer support team. Any new tickets that are raised go directly to the Dazychain app support team, which is assigned, well, Sahan's in there as well, so it gets assigned to you, and then I get CC'd in that automatically. So there's a couple of ways, I suppose. Well, who needs visibility of the new tickets coming through?
Everybody should have visibility in your team.
So at the moment, the group contains Sahan, maybe Craig as well. So would you like?
Include Craig.
So would you like a group where all of those people are seeing your requests come in?
I should see it. I think it's actually really important.
Cool.
Fact is, so that you ought to be able to see who's complaining about the things that you've created,
Yeah.
rather than just pointing it off on somebody and just like, if you see that 3 people complained about how I can't find that freaking file, well, then the team gets to see, well, we should really fix that button. That process. It's really important.
Okay. Well, that makes life quite easy because it just means adding all of the customer support people into the Dazychain app support group. We'll run through some practices. I just listening on some of the conversations we've had lately, we're still saying hello and welcome to Yaris. I think it'd probably be hello and welcome to Dazychain. We
They
know
do come through, they come through on the thing as Dazychain,
they
right?
do, yeah. That's just practice on our part. Spam the Dazychain or the yellow hip chat channel with new tickets that are created, or just email.
It would be the yellow room is actually more about dev. Maybe we should have a yellow customer support to which everybody's invited and we keep a track of that.
Prefer to keep it as simple as possible, and just if in that case it just stays in the customer support channel.
Oh, well, that's fine.
There's in terms of where everyone's focus is, well, the people who'll be the first point of, who'll be on triage, the ones who will first see the ticket, they'll be operating out of the customer support channel. So if the yellow channel is purely just for dev, then
the yellow channel is not purely for dev, it's just everyone talks about VR this whole fucking time.
yeah.
So you might as well spam them with customer support.
Okay. All right. We'll do that.
Does the Zendesk ticket come up in there?
It's meant to. The integration.
Does it come up in does it come up to me?
How
How can it,
not at the moment.
how can I know best when someone's called or right away? What's the best way that I can find out right away rather than sort of like,
Well, it should be notifying your yellow channel. It should be sending you an email. I don't think it's sending you an email, and I can't see any recent activity with it sending to the yellow channel. So I don't know license behaviour.
whatever you think, we'll just be advised by that, whatever's working. We don't want to have like a bunch of
fine tune it. Yeah.
I do want to be nagged to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because what happens is I think somebody sends me an email. I've got
Yeah. Yes.
somebody from the customer support team sends me an email.
Well, Zendesk. Well, it's meant to. That will happen automatically. So all the agent is doing is saying, well, all Zendesk is doing is saying to sign it. So it fits these rules. So sign it to Cass. No, but Zendesk does it. Zendesk will send that email.
It doesn't matter.
Have you not received any emails from Zendesk?
I get a monthly, this is how your stats have run this month.
Literally, that's it.
I think so.
Check the crap on that.
Okay, Michelle. Sadly though, I get about 120 emails a day.
Well, that's why I like the hip chat integration, because it tends to get a bit more.
When it sends it from Zendesk, what is it? Zendesk.
Good question. It will say, it'll be from support at dazychainsupport.zendesk.com.
Right.
Dazychain support.
Okay, it said nothing would match my search, but it did seem to.
Support at dazychainsupport.zendesk.com.
Support at Dazychain
support.zendesk.com. Just rolls off the tongue.
But it's supported as.
Yep.
Yeah, so seems like it's coming. But it comes, see how it comes from. Oh, okay.
Then if you
These are actually really interesting.
note the link on the button on the right hand side.
View ticket?
Yeah, so it's created with Gmail now, which is cool. So you just click on that.
That's cool. Okay, got it. Just worried if somebody sends me an email that's not going to like hit my thing. If I've got 60 emails above it.
Well, that's why now you've got another 5 people to help.
And if anything comes up, you should really feel free to nag me.
Sure.
Really, really don't be backwards in coming forward if there's a customer support thing for Daisy. I am really keen to make it. Yeah. Okay. What else? Anything else?
You have like open invoices for a project. Can you close the project even if it's invoices? Okay, so it'll be your one.
Yeah. Just say no, that's allowed.
Okay, cool. So if
And I think now it actually tells you, it may actually say something about that says, oh, an invoice is still open.
or like it's still open.
Yeah.
Is there like many bulk features, bulk closure features integrated? Another one was
Although the project manager from the organisation can close a project, I think when, I've checked it. I think that you can close a project if you're the project manager, even if it's not all complete. You can just say, the bucket is finished. Yeah.
okay, so if you've got an outstanding,
Cancel it. Except if you have an outstanding invoice.
yeah.
In which case,
Because I think that one of the things that I know that LPG used really would love to see is more bulk closure or bulk, something that can, just like you've got matters that require closure, you don't have to go in individually do something. So, yeah, I just wanted to know if that was something that was.
I think that you can't.
For example, that you've got a project.
Yeah.
And you can close it. You want to finalise, 50 invoices, and you know that they've been paid or approved. And is there an opportunity to look at bulk closure, collecting them all and then approving them all and paying them all?
Haven't thought of those, but I'm not sure how you would pay them all at one go.
Because and also with reporting as well. I mean, I know that Dazychain is so flexible with, you don't have to fill in this if you don't want to type of thing, or if you don't need to, you don't have to. You can just unsign or leave a lot of things blank. But does that kind of open it up to the fact that when it comes to reporting and you've got, projects that are really out of date or have no date, and then because it's not really something that's strict, you've just got like kind of an empty or a report that's not going to show you much information because it doesn't have field information.
None of it, isn't it? Some of it is not mandated. So
yeah,
and in fact, that's exactly what Rebecca Edmiston said.
Yeah.
So in terms of the projects, in fact, the one key thing is that people really need to be encouraged to fill out. So say this Southeastern Distribution project, I've got my template here, and I haven't filled out any of it.
Yeah. And what happens with really, really old end date projects, or ones that don't have a date, or you don't know? Is this one of those things that they need to say, or is in the calendar as well?
If it was, sorry?
If you've got really, really out of date projects.
Okay, so you close them.
And find them on the calendar.
Well,
What do you want to do with them?
yeah, just how, if you're setting an end date, right, but then it's kind of flexible that you can kind of go, oh yeah, you can change it or not put in an end date anyway, then, yeah, it just seems like it goes past that point of it being the end date, and it just becomes like a very old, like how do you know it's being worked on actively? Is there like an last activity date?
Yep.
Okay, last modified.
It's like a last touch or something.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's a change date.
Okay, so that the change date means that was when it was last touched.
Yeah. Anything changed in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can see there's
Well,
all
I
the
think that's a really good feature because you know how you've got really, really out of date projects and matters. You don't know if they've been actively last worked on, and then maybe you should actually go back to that person and say, well,
where is it?
yeah,
why haven't you done anything to it?
Yeah. Or why didn't you change the end date when you last touched it? A few days ago. Does it show up would it show up in red as it's past the end date? No, it shouldn't.
You shouldn't need that, should you?
No,
It doesn't. It could be.
I'm just going back to
LPG's unleashing on Dazychain
No,
here.
that's fine because sometimes, I mean, you've got a really good view about what the customers are asking for. And I mean, ultimately, this is the sort of technology that we prefer would take over from LPG. Yeah. To be honest, I mean, that's the reason it was built to begin with, was to potentially be able to be the new technology for the company and to be used in different sectors. I can also show you this, which is quite interesting. If you can be sort of like, use your imagination. In terms of, none of you have asked me this, but it took us a while to get to this point too. See how we've got grid view? Take a look. Folder view. So now you've got the ability to be able to move like shit stuff here. So don't look at this disgusting stuff. I can move this project into different folders. So then it gives me the opportunity to be able to look at.
The projects aren't folders. Those folders are just a way of.
Folders group things together. It's not like, you know, you can't. Folders are sort of like a security concept. So say for something like Bendigo Bank, you've got the legal group that actually, you know, basically take people to court who haven't paid their mortgage. And then we've got the recovery group. The recovery group sells your home when you haven't paid your mortgage. So they start off in the legal group and they do all their work over here, and they go to the recovery group to sell the house underneath the person who can't afford their mortgage anymore, which is kind of tragic. But the recovery team, often they attempt to recover it, they make arrangements, they deal with it, they have a legal matter, and then it stays there, or sometimes it goes to recovery, and they need to have a position where they can move projects securely from legal to recovery. So this does that now. So you can have, within an organisation, you can have an infinite number of, this is really viewed as like, and underneath it, you can have, so you can have sub-projects. So underneath here, I'd have Smith Jones, then I'd have the Morgans, then I'd have the Kings, then I'd have the Goddards, and underneath that I could have 4 or 5 projects that represent an individual customer. Or I could have things that are in recovery that are in South Queensland, the things that are in North Queensland. You know, I can divide things up and have as many subfolders now as I want to, where I can create ways of managing that.
Nice. Then you assign users to those. How would you know a user has access to this particular folder?
Because you can see the collaborators on top of it. It's not currently, you can't see that yet, but this version of test shows the collaborators.
There's some relationship with a folder and collaborators.
Right, so you can see who's collaborating. No, he's just a human on our test. All right. And so the other thing I should show you is the dashboard. I can't remember where. Anyway, the dashboards that are coming are. D2 style dashboard.
So do you send out release notes?
I should, but I don't lately.
We can probably help out with that.
D3. There we go.
I thought it just went into Daisy.
Anyway.
Open source, is it?
Yes, but it's really beautiful. When you click on one, they all change it up at the same time. And you can take the attributes from the template and plug them in so that you can see them. So that's my life right now. Any comments?
That's good. Okay. Russ, any questions from you?
Questions, Russell?
No, I think I just got to learn a bit more about it. You know, just get the do the easy stuff first, and then you know, get into the more complex series later.
Yeah. The trick is to understand that it's pretty flexible, it's pretty hard to break, and you know, and if you're going to be in Bluestone, I'm really happy for you to experiment with Bluestone. Just don't muck up the data. Okay. So
Right.
I don't want to see test 2, test 3, test data. 'Cause that's, I use that one to show to people when I need to do it. So just use real data.
And because it's prod, any companies, any suppliers that you come across are likely to be real people as well.
Great. Thank you very much for sitting through 2.5 hours of Dazychain.
That's good, Cass. Looks good.
I think everyone's keen to play a role, and it's a very important part of our future.
Yes, well, we're getting there. We're getting to the point where we're actually getting quite terrifying.
So yeah, just on that, new users are coming on board from 1st of Jan, is that right?
Well, Ally Group is starting up pretty soon. Just before Christmas. I'm meeting with Joe again on Friday. With that, we've got L'Oreal who's starting, I think it's the 5th of Jan. And then we have another group who is, hi Russell.
No, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here.
And, oh yeah, Goldfields that are joining too, want to be, which is good. I mean, all of them is good. We need new customers desperately, so I'm very keen for them to be happy.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Fantastic. And I think that in terms of customers, it'd be great if you could treat them like really important accounts. And that, oh, fantastic, yes. And, you know, they'll all know who I am, every single one of them. Yeah, I'll definitely speak to Katherine about that and let her know. And you know, if I can't answer your question, I'll get Katherine to answer it and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Yeah. So they all, I've basically met them all individually and they'll know what that's about. So it's kind of a hypercare time period for them. And what I should let you know is when the new customers join, so you can see, oh, right, Goldfield, great, right, welcome aboard, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I like the idea of
Yeah.
I think that more meetings together.
Okay, all right, good. Well, that's easy. Dazychain training and go through it again. I had a call that went through this. What would we have said to that?
Yeah.
It's good idea. And being that this is supposed to be the future, then fingers crossed that it will, you know, work out. Like software. You know.
Like even though Dazychain is pretty simple, it's just so much.
It's deceptive, isn't it?
Yeah, because looking at those, what you could do is have and just trouble as well. It's really important because I think that you can learn about what it should do, but then what it shouldn't do.
That's right, and getting feedback back to the development team, and as product owner, I'm really interested. You say something, oh, why does it do that? I'm like, I don't know, I should look at that. You know, sort of thing is really important. You know, this shouldn't, I don't think that when I'm doing this, that should be the result. It's a really important set of feedback. Oh, when I put something into red, and I would have thought that the recall would have done this, and why isn't there a recall here? And then when I go to the version number of X, I would have thought that would have said 4, not 1. Those kind of like little tiddly details.
With the documents, look into, you know how Outlook, sorry, with Hotmail or whatever, you can preview a document without having to open up. If you just go version 1 right in the drop down.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Is there an option to,
Like in Google.
Preview what you've got like 20
I think that's
versions.
actually really hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
no,
that's
it would have been a nice
yeah,
thing.
it would be very nice actually.
Looking at it,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you've got 20 versions of the document in Word, and you're going to have to download 20 times to see which one is the one that has the small.
Yeah, that'd be a pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the one that had the P in it that was?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that'd be kind of cool to one day look into that type of thing.
Yeah, preview's a great
Preview's
idea.
a good one. I think that even with LPG it would be awesome to have you download a preview.
Yeah.
Like you don't have
View,
to.
download and preview. That's very clever. Yeah, preview.
Like,
If I click on the edit, I want to see it, or at least have a preview button.
yeah.
Suck it up.
Or even
I'll ask how hard that'd be. Be a great idea.
Where there's a lot of images as well, we're being asked in console to present them as a carousel. So
Yeah.
Cool. Asshole.
won't be easy, but
Bloody customer.
hey. Right, we're going to get kicked out.
Okay, thanks Ross. See
Thanks,
ya.
Ross.
Okay, thanks, Cass. See you guys.
Bye.